The night my life cracked open wasn't loud. It was strangely calm. The sky above the harbor was turning a deep burnt orange, the sun dropping slowly behind the line of yachts docked like sleeping giants. I kept checking my watch, pacing the wooden planks with a knot tightening under my ribs. Lauren was late again, but I still waited like a man chasing remains of hope he didn't want to admit were fading. A couple walked by, laughing, fingers intertwined. The kind of natural, easy affection that used to be ours before everything shifted, before Lauren became cold, distracted, always dressed up for someone who apparently wasn't me. I knew something was wrong months ago, but I pushed my suspicions aside because I stupidly believed loyalty was enough to save a marriage. That's when the stranger approached me. A man in his 30s, clean-cut, wearing a gray jacket, and looking like he had rehearsed every step it took to walk toward me. He hesitated for a second before speaking. "You're Marcus Reed, right?" "Yeah," I replied slowly. "Do I know you?" He exhaled shakily, eyes soft with pity. "No, but I know your wife." My stomach dropped, heat rising across my face. "Excuse me." He shook his head. "No disrespect, but you need to stop waiting. She's not coming here for you tonight." My chest tightened. "What are you talking about?" "She's with someone," he said, voice low, almost broken. "She's with the same man who destroyed my relationship too." Everything around me, the ocean, the voices, the fading sunlight, blurred into a dull hum. This wasn't a rumor. This wasn't speculation. This was a man whose own heart had been crushed by the same person my wife had been hiding. Before I could respond, he continued, "You deserve better than what she's doing. And I don't even know you, man, but seeing you waiting here like this, it didn't feel right." He walked away with his hands trembling, leaving me standing alone with my pulse pounding in my ears. My mind raced. Lauren had told me she was working late, that her team needed her, that she had a strict deadline. Instead, she was out with someone else, someone she'd been emotionally slipping toward for months. I swallowed hard, fighting the burn in my chest, and dialed her number. No answer. Again, no answer. A third time, straight to voicemail. That was the moment everything shifted inside me. Something cold, steady, and razor-sharp replaced the hurt. I wasn't the begging type. I wasn't the man who would compete for a spot in his own marriage. I walked back to my truck and drove home with silence filling every inch of my thoughts. When I entered the house, Lauren wasn't there. Her shoes were gone. Her favorite perfume scent hung faintly in the hallway, a trace of the life she was building without me. On the dining table sat a sticky note. "Late meeting. Don't wait up." The handwriting felt almost disrespectful in its casualness. That entire night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, remembering all the small changes, her lingering smiles at her phone, her secretive texting, her sudden self-care nights, her unexplained overtime. None of it hurt as much as realizing she never fought for us. She simply drifted away, one cold choice at a time. By morning, I had made one decision. I wasn't going to chase her. I wasn't going to confront her. I was going to outmatch her. If she was already envisioning a life without me, then she could live with the consequences of her choices, every last one of them. And she had no idea the storm I was about to bring. The next morning, the world felt heavier in a way I couldn't quite describe. I sat at the kitchen table staring at the mug of coffee I hadn't touched, watching the steam curl upward like it was trying to escape too. The house was painfully quiet, the kind of silence that makes your heartbeat sound too loud. Lauren usually hummed while making breakfast, or played music from her phone, lately only when she thought I wasn't listening. Today, she wasn't home at all. At 9:12 a.m., the front door finally opened. She walked in wearing a blazer. She definitely hadn't left the house in last night. Her hair was freshly styled. Her perfume was stronger than usual, like she was trying to cover someone else's cologne with a cloud of floral sweetness. "Morning," she said flatly, not even glancing at me. I didn't respond. I didn't trust my voice not to crack, not from sadness, but from the chill settling inside my chest. She slipped off her heels and walked past me with her phone practically glued to her hand. The screen lit up and I caught a glimpse of a man's name, Ryan T. I memorized it instantly. She typed quickly, smiling at a message she hadn't even finished reading. That soft smile, the one she once saved for me. Now it looked foreign on her face. "You're quiet," she said, finally noticing me. "I'm thinking," I replied. She shrugged like it didn't matter and went about her morning, making herself a smoothie while playing some upbeat song that didn't match the tension in the room. I watched her move, noticing the details I'd overlooked before. The way she checked her phone every 10 seconds. The way she smoothed her hair, as if expecting someone to see her. The way she didn't ask where I was last night because she hadn't cared enough to wonder. I stood and grabbed my jacket. "I'm heading out." "To where?" "Don't worry about it." She made a face, rolling her eyes like I had inconvenienced her entire day. "Whatever." On my drive to work, Eric's words replayed in my mind like a warning I couldn't ignore. "She's with someone. The same guy who ruined my relationship too." Anger simmered beneath my ribs. Not the explosive kind, but the cold, calculating type that spread slow and deep. I wasn't going to beg Lauren to love me again. I wasn't going to hunt down the truth like some desperate man clinging to scraps. No, I was going to do something far more effective. By noon, I had already contacted a private investigator. A man named Calvin Morris, sharp, quick, and discreet. I didn't give him much, just Lauren's name, her workplace, and the suspicious man's first name from her messages. "Give me 48 hours, Calvin said confidently. "I'll have everything you need." But I didn't wait 48 hours. That same night, while Lauren claimed she was going for a late meeting, I drove by her office. The lights were off. Her car wasn't there. I didn't follow her. That wasn't my style. Instead, I parked near the street corner and waited to see what her next move would be. At 7:46 p.m., a sleek silver sedan pulled up. Lauren stepped out of the passenger seat, laughing, hard, like she didn't have a husband waiting at home. A man about her age stepped out from the driver's side. Ryan, tall, athletic, brown hair styled a little too perfectly. He leaned in close, brushing her cheek with his hand in a way that made my blood run cold. My fingers tightened around the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. I didn't get out. I didn't shout. I didn't reveal myself. Instead, I lowered my seat and watched them walk into a restaurant together. Every step she took with him was another nail sealing the coffin of our marriage. Back at home, she returned past midnight, humming the same song she played that morning. The smell of expensive cologne clung to her clothes. She didn't even try to hide it anymore. "I'm too tired to talk," she said, brushing past me. "We'll talk when you're ready." I answered calmly, too calmly. She paused, squinting at me. "Since when are you this passive?" "Since I realized talking isn't worth anything if the other person already checked out." She didn't know what to say to that. She simply walked upstairs, leaving me alone in the dim kitchen with the ticking clock echoing through the silence. At 2 a.m., my phone buzzed. A message from Calvin, the investigator. "You were right. Got everything. And you're going to want to see this." My pulse kicked. I opened the file he sent. Photos, timelines, dinner receipts, gym meetups, texts he recovered from her cloud backup. And then one audio clip. Calvin wrote. She didn't know her phone recorded this. I pressed play. Lauren's voice filled the room. Soft, mocking, dripping with arrogance. "He'll accept it eventually. I'm already preparing my life without him. He's too predictable. He'll never do anything about it." Predictable. That word lit something inside me like a spark catching dry wood. If she thought I was predictable, if she thought I would roll over quietly, she was about to learn exactly how wrong she was. Because my revenge wasn't going to be loud. It wasn't going to be messy. It was going to be unforgettable. The next morning felt different, like something inside me had shifted permanently overnight. I wasn't pacing. I wasn't replaying her lies. I wasn't wondering why anymore. I had moved past her and landed somewhere colder, clearer, and far more dangerous for anyone who thought I'd stay silent. Lauren came downstairs while smoothing her hair, dressed in a fitted navy dress I'd never seen before. She used to ask for my opinion on outfits. Now she didn't even look my direction. "I'll be home late," she said casually. "Don't wait up." I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I looked at her with the first genuine smile I'd given in weeks. "Take your time." She blinked, thrown off. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Just live your life, Lauren," I said with a calmness I knew scared her. "I'm done trying to fit into it." Her brows knit for a second, as if she sensed the ground subtly shifting beneath her. But then her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, smiled, and whatever concern she had vanished instantly. She walked out the door without another word. As soon as her car disappeared, I grabbed my jacket and drove straight to a quiet cafe on the edge of town. That's where I met Calvin, the investigator, in a back booth. "You really don't look surprised," he said, sliding a thick envelope across the table. "Most people I deal with are shaken up. You are steady. I've been preparing for this moment longer than I realized," I answered. Inside the envelope were more photos. Lauren and Ryan at a gym, at a bar, walking into his apartment building. One shot hit me harder than the rest. Lauren leaning against his chest, giving him the kind of smile she used to save for me. Calvin cleared his throat. "There's more." He pulled out a printed transcript of a conversation. Security camera at the gym caught this. Audio was clean enough for transcription. I read it slowly. "Lauren, I'm working on telling him. I just wanted to be the right moment." "Ryan, he'll get over it." "Lauren, he'll accept it eventually. He always rolls with whatever I decide." "Ryan, so you're sure about us?" "Lauren, I'm building a future with you, not him." My fingers tightened on the pages. Not shaking, not breaking, just absorbing. Calvin leaned back. "If you want to confront her, now's the time. Evidence doesn't get clearer than this." I shook my head slowly. "I'm not confronting her. That's too easy." He raised an eyebrow. "Then what are you planning?" I looked at him, voice steady. "Something she'll never forget." I left the cafe with the envelope tucked under my arm, but the real revenge hadn't formed yet. Not until fate stepped in. That evening, around 6 p.m., I received an unexpected call. "Is this Marcus Reed?" "Yes. This is Julia Turner, Ryan's ex-fiancée." My pulse jumped. "How did you get my number?" "Eric gave it to me," she said softly. "He told me everything he saw. He also told me you weren't the kind of man who'd explode or shout. He said you were planning something smart." "Smart." I wasn't sure whether to take that as a compliment or a warning. "Why are you calling?" I asked cautiously. Julia exhaled shakily. "Because I know what it feels like to be blindsided by someone you trusted. And I also know Lauren won't feel anything if you just confront her. People like them don't learn until the mirror is turned back on them." The bitterness in her voice told me she wasn't calling out of curiosity. She wanted accountability, closure, justice. The same things I wanted, just dressed in different emotions. "Meet me," she said. "I think you and I can help each other." I considered it, then agreed. We met at a quiet waterfront spot, a narrow deck overlooking calm water, shimmering with city lights. Julia looked composed, elegant, but her eyes held the same exhaustion mine did. "I'm sorry you're going through this," she said first. "Ryan, he wasn't always this person, but somewhere along the line, he started craving attention like oxygen." "Lauren too," I replied. "They found each other at the peak of their selfishness." Julia nodded. "I want you to know something." She opened her phone and showed me photos. Ryan kissing another woman while he was still engaged to her. "He's not loyal to anyone, not even your wife." The irony twisted painfully but truthfully in my chest. Then she said something that changed everything. "Marcus, I'm not calling a vent. I'm calling because I don't want to be a victim anymore. And you don't either." I looked at her carefully. She wasn't suggesting something destructive or harmful. She was suggesting perspective, dignity, a controlled power shift. "What are you proposing?" I asked. A chance to show them we're not their leftovers. That the people they threw away still know their worth. Her voice softened. Not revenge, clarity. A reminder of what they lost. I stared at her for a moment. She wasn't just beautiful. She radiated a calm strength, the kind that comes from surviving something painful and still choosing grace. For the first time in months, I felt something like air returning to my lungs. And that's when the idea formed. A clean, elegant, unforgettable way to show Lauren exactly what she discarded, and what I had become without her dragging me down. This wasn't going to be yelling, or confrontation, or exposing evidence. It was going to be a moment so sharp, so undeniable, that she would replay it for the rest of her life. And it started with a single sentence to Julia. "Would you like to join me for a trip?" Her eyes widened. "What kind of trip?" "A peaceful one," I said with a quiet smile. "Just beautifully timed." She nodded slowly. "I'm in." What Lauren didn't know as she walked in her next life-filled evening with Ryan was that her predictable husband had already left her orbit, and she had absolutely no idea what was coming next. The morning of Lauren's birthday trip was supposed to be perfect. Months ago, I had booked a 3-day getaway to a luxury resort, complete with ocean view suites, private dinners, and a sunset cruise. All of it had been chosen with her in mind. Her favorite foods, her favorite views, her favorite music. Back then, I still believed I could fix things by loving her harder. Now, the only suitcase packed in the hallway was mine. Lauren came downstairs with a bright red suitcase, humming to herself, wearing a blazer and heels that had nothing to do with the vacation she thought was still happening. She froze when she saw me, standing by the door fully dressed, keys in hand. "You packed already?" she asked, confused. I didn't answer right away. I let her experience the silence she had fed me for months. Finally, I looked up. "Not we, Lauren. Just me." Her eyebrows shot up. "What are you talking about?" "We're leaving in 2 hours." "I canceled the trip," I said simply. She blinked, like the words were too soft to believe. "You what?" "I canceled everything. The suite, the cruise, the dinner, all of it." "Why would you do that?" Her voice cracked, but not from hurt, just disbelief that her world wasn't moving the way she expected. I stepped past her toward the door. "Because you made your choices. Now I'm making mine." She followed me, panic rising. "Marcus, stop being dramatic. We can talk about this later." "No," I said calmly, holding the doorknob. "You can go to whoever you're going to text the second we arrived at the resort. I'm not competing for my own wife anymore." Her face paled, her throat working as she tried to form a response. "What did you do?" I didn't indulge her with explanations. "Not yet. I'll be back in a few days," I said instead, walking out. The door closed behind me with a soft click, and it felt like a final one. Julia was waiting for me at the marina, dressed in a simple summer dress, hair tied back in the wind. She looked peaceful in a way that made me realize just how much chaos I had lived in for months. When she saw me, she gave a small, understanding smile, the kind that didn't need words. "You ready?" she asked. More than ever. We boarded the yacht. A friend of hers owned it and offered it for the weekend after hearing our story. The deck gleamed under the sun, waves lapping gently against the hull. I felt lighter with every step, like the salt in the air was washing off the last pieces of who I had been. As the yacht pulled away from the dock, I checked my phone. For missed calls from Lauren. 2 messages. "Where are you?" "We need to talk now." I put the phone down and turned back to the view. Julia stood beside me, leaning on the railing. "She knows something's wrong," she said gently. "She's always known," I said. "She just didn't think I'd ever act on it." We spent the afternoon talking about our pasts, the ways we blamed ourselves for things that weren't ours, the fear of starting over. There wasn't romance between us, just 2 people who had been broken by the same storm, finding a moment of calm together. And then, late in the evening, as the sun dipped low and cast gold across the water, Lauren showed up. Not physically, but through a notification. She had posted a story, a picture of our living room. The caption, "He left. Guess he couldn't handle the truth." Julia raised an eyebrow. She's trying to control the narrative. She won't be able to for long. I took a photo right then, not flashy, not mocking. Just me and Julia standing on the deck, sunset behind us, holding hands with quiet solidarity. No hugging, no intimacy, just 2 people reclaiming their dignity. I sent it directly to Lauren, not posted publicly, not shared with anyone else. Just her. Within seconds, my phone exploded. "Lauren, who is SHE? Lauren, are you serious? On MY birthday? Lauren, is that Ryan's ex? Lauren, answer me now." Then another message, final and furious. "You're doing this just to hurt me." I typed back slowly. "No, I'm doing this to show you I'm not your backup plan." I put my phone down and didn't check it again. Julia looked at me, eyes soft. "You okay?" I nodded, for the first time in a long time. Hours later, as the yacht drifted quietly along the coastline, I realized something important. Revenge wasn't the photo. Revenge wasn't hurting her back. Revenge was the serenity she never expected me to have. She thought she was the only one brave enough to move on. She thought I would cling to her, beg for answers, crumble under her choices. Instead, she saw me moving forward, with dignity, clarity, and someone who understood the pain she caused. Not to replace her, but to show her she couldn't dictate my worth anymore. Lauren didn't lose me because she cheated. She lost me because she thought I'd never leave. And now, standing on that yacht deck as the wind brushed past my face, I realized something else. I didn't need her apology. I didn't need closure. I didn't need her to hurt the way she hurt me. All I needed was this feeling. Freedom. Peace. Self-respect. A new beginning. And that was the part she would never forget.